let's finish talking about this setup now. So as you can see, I used a bigger round piece of PVC and hooked this to my kayak. The way that I mounted it to my kayak is I use fender washers on the inside and exhaust clamps. Okay, PVC pipe, they're all the same dimensionally on the outside, so that kind of stuff, it translates. Anyways, another thing I did is I put some paracord on here because I don't want to drop these clamps in the water. So now I can take the clamps off with no fear of dropping them. You drop them in the water, well, guess what? You don't have them anymore. So maybe you can find a stick to shove in the hole. Anyways, moving on. I want to talk to you guys about how I actually came about building these things. So the first thing is this is your outrigger here. This is what I use for an outrigger. This is just the thin, cheap PVC stuff, okay? The end caps are about $5 a piece, so I have $20 in end caps. $5, $5. These are $2. So I have about $40 total into this setup. And like I told you earlier, you can buy one for $80. Now, mind you, my time isn't free, but I enjoy doing this stuff. So, anyways, these clamps, I made these clamshell clamps, basically. Stick it on there like that, stick it on here like this, bolt it together, okay? So now that's held on there, right? So the reason why I did that, on this, I have it centered, because it's generic, right? I don't know what's gonna work right for me. Nobody on YouTube can tell me what's gonna work right for me. I can't tell you what's gonna work right for you. So I like the idea of being able to have adjustability. There is a way to do this with PVC. It's a saddle setup, and then you'll hose clamp it on. It will work for your setup if you want to do that way. You also don't have to use 4-inch. You can use 3-inch, you can use 2-inch, whatever you want to use. It's just depending on your weight, size, and how much help you want. So, anyways, moving on. So, I have this one centered. If I want to move it back, I can. Well, which will move it forward, right? And if I want to go the other way, I can. So, whatever I want to do, I can do. I have all this adjustability. So the next problem is I have metal clamps, right? So how am I going to hook this to the PVC? Because we want to use PVC, right? Because it's lighter. So we don't want to use all metal. We want to use PVC. It's a lot lighter. It's more forgiving. Yeah, it's cheaper, whatever. So I rummaged around my garage and I found a couple pieces of pipe. Weld that piece of pipe onto there, okay? Now I know you guys might not be welders or fabricators or anything like that, but you might be. So that's what I did. Then you have your outrigger pipe. It goes up in here, right? That goes down into there, and then I bolted this solid. All right, so it can't move on me. So that's this setup right now. Then we'll start talking about the T fitting here. So I bought a T fitting. This is the piece that goes inside here. Well, it's too sloppy, right? So they make these adapters. Glue that on there, slide in there, glue it. Done. Okay? But now, this slides up into here, loose. Okay? That clamshell setup, right? It's loose. I mean, you could do that. I wanted it tighter than that. So I had enough. I was worried about height here, so I wanted to keep it as short as possible. So I cut that one just so it would be flush on the outside. So I shoved that up in there. Oops. Okay? And then I made one here. I made it a little long just to help a little bit more with strength, I guess. And then the outrigger piece slides up in here. So now it's a lot tighter. Still has some wiggle room, still has free movement. It's not gonna, it's not gonna bind up on you. It's gonna slide through there real nice and easy. And you'll be good. So at this point, I'm going to finish up the other side, and then I'll come back and I'll show you the completed project. All right, so here it is completed. This right now would be in haul mode. Like if I just pulled it out of the truck, maybe I forgot to move these out. So pull the pin, there's one, there's two. That's probably where I think we're gonna be most of the time. We'll put the pin back in, Now I do expect this to be a little more difficult in the water. You probably have to like literally push it out. Same thing here. 1 and 2 with all my timing marks. And I mean, that was pretty simple, right? So now, I mean, if that's the one I'm going to run most of the time, I can still oar just fine. I may have to reach out a little further to really dig, like if I really need to go. But I can always run these in if I really need to paddle, like if I'm trying to get somewhere and I don't want to hit these at all. If I'm just floating down the river and I'm trying to back out of a spot, like it's not a big deal if they're there. If I tap them here and there, whatever, you know. But if I was somewhere like on a lake where like I really want to paddle or I really want to go, I can move these in. I'm still gonna get some help, but I won't hit them as much. So yeah. Anyways, and then you know, there's your net, fishing pole, casting. You know, set your pole down. It's like I normally set my pole in here. But yeah, I mean I can have this sitting, you know, over here now, kind of out of my way, casting. And if I need to put that down, I can put it down and grab my oar. So I think this is going to make my kayaking experience much better. So I'm gonna make sure that I get some pictures. I don't think I'll be able to get any videos, but I'll try to get some pictures of me on the water with it so everybody can see. But yeah, I mean, I'm really optimistic. This is gonna be pretty sweet. So I'll show you that stuff upcoming. Okay, so I had to make a modification. I took it on a trial run the night that I built it. The U-clamps that I used, they held it, but when I was dragging it down to launch it in a river, because here I'm in a pond, down there I was at a river, so there's a narrow trail to drag it down. I had these extended out and everything, and they caught and they rolled, so the whole unit can spin. Well, we don't want that to happen, so I drilled and put big fender washer inside to stop that from happening. So now I will have these up and in when I'm pulling it down to the river or pulling it back up from the river, whatever, to eliminate that problem. But that was it. Other than that, it worked great. I'm gonna launch it, and we're gonna show you all that. Okay, so as you can see, I can paddle around here and not hit anything. Works great. I actually think I can even stand up on it. Oh yeah. And this is only in level 2. I can go to level 3. And these are all the way up. I can drop them down to give me even more buoyancy. So yeah, this works great. When I did take it out on the river, casting, it makes my front end light. So like I'll cast over there and it'll pull my front end over. So I want to add an anchor so I can stop on the river and fish. So when I add my anchor, I'll make sure that I keep my anchor in the front and maybe add a little bit of weight to the front. But yeah, I think that's about it. So just put these out when you're ready to launch, and there you go. Well, hopefully you guys like this and it helps you out. We'll talk to you later.